Hello, everybody. Today I am going to tell you the seven stages, the various stages of political enlightenment in an average person. Now, let's begin with the stage zero. Stage zero. What is stage zero? It's nothing. A person is not interested in politics. He is not interested in politics, doesn't care to know who are the main people, main political players, or even since nowadays we're all bombarded uh, via our news channels, the various names of important people, the various political leaders. But here, that person is not very much interested in politics. He may not even vote. He may have some basic knowledge about, let's say, the prime minister's name, the president's name, the chief minister's name, or the names of one or two leaders of the foreign countries with whom we are having some enmity or friendship, or who are very famous. But in the personal level, he is not interested in politics. He doesn't want to waste his time thinking about political things. He doesn't participate in political discussions and arguments, anything like that. As I told you before, he may not even vote. He says thinks voting is a wastage of time. There are many people who are like that, who voluntarily want to ignore all political discussions, political news. This is stage zero. Stage one. Here, what happens? You start taking a little bit interest in politics. A little bit interest. Here, what happens? You may be interested in knowing what a particular leader has said. If there is a controversy going on, you may take a serious interest in knowing the election results in your district or in some other district. Who has won really? You go a little way along to get some political facts, political knowledge. But here also, you are not, I would say, you are not very much interested in politics, but you want to increase your general knowledge. Now, this is a stage. A stage one, you can say, as I told you before. Here, people may go and try to find some newses, get some readings, learn to know about the political histories of various parties, which party is doing, which is getting more votes in which state, exactly which party is ruling which state, uh, this type of things. Here, uh, these people who are in the stage one, they don't have any particular favorite political party. They don't have any favorite political party. They just okay. They want to get some knowledge, but they don't have any particular choice, a particular favorable candidate. If they vote for a people just who is little bit whom they maybe they personally know that candidate. And I personally know many people who have voted for a particular candidate because they personally knew that person. That's all, for no other reasons. There is no ideology involved here. Or maybe there is a news in the area that a particular person is a good person, is a gentleman, as you can say, a good natured, not exactly a gentleman, a good natured person. Gentleman is a different thing altogether. Now, this is stage one. They may gain some knowledge about the world politics. They may also try to gather some knowledge about the political parties in a different country. And it's not very much different from stage zero. Now, in stage two, what happens? You start developing a feeling, a supportive feeling, excuse me, for a particular party. Hell, I support, let's say, BJP or Congress or the Communists or Trinamool, TMC, any party, depending on which state you are staying or which country you are staying. Anything. I, a person in stage two says that I have a support for this particular party. They are better than the other party. Sorry, they are more loyal. They are less corrupt. They are more hardworking. They want the betterment of the constituency. which can be a state, which can be a country, which can be a district, or it can be anything, a ward, anything. They do well, they work well. But if you ask them why is it so, I don't know. They work well. That's all. They work well. I don't know why other people don't work well, but these people work well. So they have a basic support. Now stage 0 normally don't vote. Stage 1 normally votes, but not every time. Here stage 2. These stage 2 people, they vote regularly. Now this floating population, the floating population includes the floaters, as we say, who don't have any particular party. They include the 0 and the 1. The ones vote when there is a particular very, let's say, emergency situation. People are angry with the particular political party. They want a change. This time the group 1 may cast their votes in against the ruling party. It may happen. Whenever they vote, normally they vote against the ruling party for a change. Now this group 2 of 2 people, as I told you, they have a particular support they have support for a particular party, but that support ends there. Well, in the group, in the friends, among the friends, they may be discussing, they may in debates, participating in debates and all those things. Oh well, this party is good, I'll vote for that. And they also, but that's a very personal thing. It doesn't they don't waste much time over this thing. It's a part of their various aspects of their life, doing this work, watching this movie, reading that book, talking with that friend, and obviously supporting a particular political party, eating that food over there, visiting that restaurant. It's a part of the lifestyle, I would say, like lifestyle. That particular political party, we support this, we support that party. Okay. the, then we have the stage 3. Here somebody just try to spread the ideology of the party which he or she supports. Nowadays, since in the social media, what happens, there is everybody has access to social media, and you will see many political posts in Facebook, even Twitter, and all these things. Via the social media, they try to uh, post post various news about the party which they support, and also against the party whom they oppose, the rival party. Okay, they are trying to gain followers, from the normal people for the party whom they support. That's what they are doing. They are doing it in a, I would say, what's the proper word? They're doing it seriously, in a serious, whatever time they're getting, they are providing, let's say, 2 hours of the day, or even while doing a work in an office, just open a Facebook and you just also get a, let's say, a news, a particular post about your favorite political party, and you just share that post among your followers. You know, if you share a post, somebody, some of your followers or friends will again share it, and so that particular news will get mileage, will be reaching a greater audience, greater level of audience, number of audiences. They sincerely want their party to win. They are sad when their party loses. So you are a particular member. Many of them, what happens, they go in the colleges especially, they participate in the student politics. They participate in the rallies. So everybody is not participating in the rallies. Some are basically first Facebook warriors, sitting in the homes and posting images and newses. Some of them are participating outside, outdoors, in the rallies and marches and all these things. Purposefully going to visit some, going to listen some lectures to their favorite political leader. And all these things are happening in stage 3. Stage 4. You, here it is basically a sort of a maturity. You come to know that political party whom you are supporting, they do have some negative features also, and that is a very important stage in development of the political consciousness. Now previously, as I told, that we all know, everybody knows that every party has some corrupt elements in there. Every party has some corrupt elements, some criminals in their ranks. Now, this is a different thing altogether. In this particular stage 4, you know that number of bad people, opportunists in your favorite party are many. There are many, maybe equal, if not more, than your rival party. This particular feeling, I would call it enlightenment, you gain. You have to pass through various stages, obviously, to gain that particular intelligence and wisdom. You know that yeah, most of them are like that. Most of them are like that only. Nobody is very much better than the other. But still, you support your party. Your line of argument is that, well, my party does have many corrupt people. Every party has some corrupt people. But overall, our performance has been better. Our party is more patriotic. They are working for the people. They're working for the state, for the upliftment of the masses. And it is less opportunistic than the other party. You admit that they are not here to support the people. They're not doing a social service. They're not doing that. But whatever they are doing is better than the rival. Now, this is the enlightenment. Then you come to the stage 6, where you finally come to know that all parties are same. Nobody is here for any social service. Nobody is not. Nobody is doing anything by just looking at the face of the people. Everybody wants to make a career. Everybody wants to make a, let's say, make some money. Every political person wants to make some money. That's all, nothing else. Party A and Party B are all same. They may say nice words in front of the public, but in the private life, all are same. And most of them have disdain for the common mass. Now, this here you get completely de-illusionized. Okay, and here you may still vote. I think everybody should vote. Voting is important. You get de-illusionized, and you don't participate in the political debates and all those things. And you may name, fine, if you're discussing politics with some of your friends, it's not exactly an argument about which party is better. It's basically an argument, or I would say discussion, about some corrupt politician. What is he doing wrong? Why is he doing that? A corrupt politician, we're talking about them. A social clause, as you can say. Because we have already known that all parties are same. Every party is same. The ideological differences is just to gain some followers, just to make people stupid, just to fool the people. There is no ideological difference, it doesn't matter. Behind the political scene, all are friends. All are friends. It's like a person when working for, let's say, General Motors. Oh, car is best car in the world. Yeah, this is that. This is what we are giving horsepower. This is the model. See, the engine is superb engine, etc., etc. The paint is some high class painting, and it won't scrap off even after 10 years. A lot of things they say. I say, but not Toyota. Oh, well, General Motors is a new company. They don't know anything. Wow, company is the world number one. We have some strong cars. Our engine, our technology is world class. A robotic paint system, and we have this, we have that. We have so spacious cars. It's found worldwide. All these things they say to the customers. But the evening, they all meet their friends, drink some whiskey, have some booze, and some of them are from Toyota, and some of them are from General Motors. They are childhood friends. So in the evening in the bars, they are just enjoying themselves all together. It's no Toyota, no, I would say General Motors, nothing. And all of them, they know how to fool their customers, and they discuss, hey man, that guy, I sold him a car, I told him a Spark. He was trying to buy a i20. I made him buy a Spark, a low price, comparatively lower price. And they all talk about their victories and all. The same things happen in Toyota also. They say, how we pressurized that customer. He was saying, I won't pay. I forced him. I told him, boss, we'll sell the car to somebody else if you don't pay. within 4 days. If you have to pay 20 lakh rupees for 4 days, your car will be sent to some other person. Oh, that guy was just, saying, how will I arrange 20 lakh within 4 days, and all the stuff that guy was saying. And they're happy, they're drinking whiskey and alcohol, enjoying themselves. Same as here also. They are friends. In most of the situations, they are friends. The senior leaders of all the parties are friends. Let me tell you one thing, just friends. Here you have become simply deillusionized. All are same. And the next stage, the last stage, as I would say, here, not very much different from the stage zero. Already, although you have become, as I would say, matured, and a person, I would say, a mature person should take interest in politics and in political debates, but they should have a knowledge of how the politicians are trying to fool us. They should have that particular knowledge. So there's no going back to stage zero, but your behavior is just like a stage zero. In stage six, your behavior is just like a stage zero. You want to spend minimum time in political activities. So not even activities is something, it's blasphemous activities, no way. Discussions and debates, you don't do research on which political party is doing what, the history is it. I'm not interested. And I'm not doing some research on the I would say early days of Tata Motors. I don't. Why should I don't waste my time in some company, some corporate. Similarly, why should I waste my time in doing some research on the beginnings of the Congress Party or BJP, as a matter of fact? Why? Nothing. There's no interest in that. Spending minimum time, minimum energy on this type of things, and spending most of the time for self-development and development of your various aspects of your life. So 0 and 6 are quite similar, if not 100%, but still they are quite similar. That this is political party is just an illusion. Why I being better than you is an illusion. You have come to know that thing, and now it's not necessary that everybody will have to pass through all the 6 stages. Not necessary. Some people become disillusionized in the stage 2 only. Some, they don't go from stage 0 to stage 1. They don't even do that. And these things do happen. But here it's a normal 7 stages of political development in the political consciousness in an average human being. Thanks for watching.